Namaskar. Hello. And today I'm trying to be as authentic as I can in what I need. Sounds a bit strange. Let's talk a little bit about it. That's why I'm laying on my bed. Because the energy is very low today. And I feel a bit emotional actually. And but the body's feeling emotional, which provokes me to feel the physical sense of emotion, if that makes sense. And I was thinking, I need to make a video, and I figured, you know what, this is just where I want to be. This is how it's going to play out. So, yeah, I have a lot of judgments around me doing it like this, actually. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, because I criticize and I judge myself a lot. I mean, I know they're not real, those thought processes, those stories. They're, like I've been saying, self-proclaimed and something that I've convinced myself of something, right? But I need to just lay here, as if I was talking to my wife or a friend. I'd lay like this anyway, so why couldn't I do this to friends, out there in the world, or local or far away? I think this is like being topless or being in a way that we would judge as provocative or sensual, maybe. Ultimately, it's down to the individual that takes it the way they want to take it, right? And we take it as far in our minds as we wish to. But that stuff creates a conflict in me. And doesn't feel right sometimes. But right now, I'm really working a lot on allowing me to just be fully however I want to be, or choose, or desire, or wish, whichever one feels right, I suppose, for those words to use. Anyway, so hopefully everybody's well. And so we were talking a bit about anxiety, and again, I think we'll come back to it at some point in the future. But this video is going to be about depression, because I've been feeling it a little bit again recently, that embodiment of it, which I've been finding very strange, because actually I said, I think in the last vid, that it's been many years since I felt it, but recently it's been feeling pretty heavy. I've been feeling very okay in my emotional sense, but bodily I haven't been feeling that great, just because I burnt myself out a little bit with some extra work that I was doing physically. And generally speaking, when the body starts to feel, obviously the mind follows the hormonal sense of that, and then the whole calamity of chemistry kicks in, and then we get all of our disequilibriums. But I wanted to share a little bit about my version of depression, how it served me to get to where I am, and then how I now understand it, what I learned from it, to be able to let it go. Okay, so my kids just arrived, so I can hear that might be a little influence somewhere in this. But again, we just got to be with all of it, right? So I might get a bit distracted. But I discovered that not most of my childhood, I don't think I was depressed. I was anxious for sure, but I didn't know that's what it was. And then I think that when I got into my mid-20s and up to the mid-30s, so I'd say I was probably, depressive from my early 20s all the way to, I would say, like mid to late 30s, when it really subsided and dissipated and almost disappeared, I would say. Because I think during my teen years, you find your tribe, right? You find those people that you really jive with. All of a sudden, that get you, that know you, that understand you, that feel you. So I felt like there was this, when I was starting to feel bad and unwell, there was this deep desire and want to be like that again. This cheeky, happy-go-lucky, energetic, vibrant being that could eat anything, drink anything, and could really get away with doing anything, ultimately to the body, right, without it feeling too much. And when I had my episode that just exploded everything out into the universe, I saw this depression. It was like, we press a button. I felt like it, just in my mind, it made sense. It was like a depress. So I depressed this button of emotion that released everything all in one go. Like, it was just so overwhelming to the body that it didn't know what to do. It was like it went into a full panic mode of, whoa, that's too much. Depression is like this past activity where I'm clinging on to something the way I should have been, the way I was, the way I wish it had been, the way I was feeling, the joy of it, the love of it, the person. We always seem to have the odd thing is that I find now is like that we have an association with depression that actually kind of comes from happiness, which is really weird. It kind of makes sense to me in that way. I'm depressed about something because it's not as good as it was. So the thing that was really good used to be something really happy, and now it's oddly it's turned into something very negative because I'm still not that. So if I can let that go and understand that thing that I'm holding on to, 1, is a phantom, 2, it's a memory, 3, it doesn't exist anymore, and 4, change is inevitable. So why can't I just go with the flow and just allow my new version of me to be okay? Maybe I'm not supposed to be that person anymore, right? I used to really hang on to this notion that I was something. Of course I was something. And actually looking back at it, ultimately that thing that I was really wasn't that well or that great actually anyway. Because it didn't really understand all the things that it understands now, and you have to go through those processes to get to where you are, to be able to understand, all these things that help us shift out of this stuff. But when I was in my deep states of depression and anxiety, the depression was pretty intense. It really didn't feel good, and there was this overwhelming sense of deep sadness over my body that really just, it sucked. It sucked being alive. It really, truly felt that. It felt terrible to desire something so deeply that you didn't feel like you could ever achieve again. And I got to the point where I did say to my wife, I was like, you know what, I think I need to seek help, because I started to meet a lot of people that were taking antidepressants and medications, pharmaceutical medications. And during all of this process, I was already doing my yoga practices, and that's really what helped me step out of being depressed. It allowed me to start to connect to my emotions and to my body, and to become aware that I had a body, right? That my body is this living organism that was holding all this stuff inside. But obviously at the time, well, not obviously because you're not me, but at the time it was hard to recognize and assimilate that all of these things that were happening, in mind, they weren't true. They were just repercussions of stored emotion in the body that was vibrating, that would send it off to my brain as a vibration or as a hologram, and then it would send the signal back, and it would just get stuck in a loop, right? Just as we've been talking about in these other videos. And I will constantly repeat this stuff so that it sinks in just a bit deeper, like the truth of it and stuff. But hello, little man. Come on this side so you can come up. You want to come and say hi? Come and see that guy. So this is mine. He's all mine. He's not mine. He's his self. But this is Sian. Hello.
Dowdy.
You want to say hey?
Dowdy.
Dowdy. We are Dowdy today. How was school?
Dowdy.
Beautiful. So, these are the little things. These are the beautiful things that keep us. That give us purpose. Because we try not to pass too much of our stuff on with them or to them, so that we can continue in life, so that these little beings can be okay in the future. Because otherwise we keep passing on things, and we can stop it. genes, we have this belief that genes are what make us. Genes can be stopped, they can be turned on or off, depending on our attitudes, our outlooks, our mental prowesses, our decision-making skills, our choices, our wants, our desires, really depend on whether that gene gets turned on or off. You know, I have my family, we seem to have a propensity to maybe hypertension and cancers at a genetic level. I mean, there may be a level, maybe, that there is that one propensity of that gene that's just the way it is. And then you're just, okay, that's just the way it is. But I do believe that if you don't give it the same stresses constantly, that gene for that cancer or that hypertension will never get triggered. It will never get turned on. You know? And I really work a lot on this myself so that my kids don't have to go through all that same stuff. So they can live happily, you know, without having to go through so much suffering. But of course, we're going to pass on things inevitably because that's just what we do, because we're only human and we go through our processes, to progress. Okay, so coming back. So going back to the pharmaceuticals. So I started to take antidepressants. I went and saw a lady and I started taking some. And I started to feel better. But then I started to understand that I think that was just a placebo, in a sense. Now, what I'm going to say doesn't mean that it is truth. And I don't think that... I think that everybody should find their way, should find their path, should find what works for them. So what I'm going to say doesn't mean that's the way it should be for you. For me, there's a deep truth that might have some truth within it, just because of the way I understand, the way at least my mind and my body seems to be working these days. But I got to this point where I realized taking the antidepressants, I didn't need them any more than I did, in the aspect of the thing that was actually causing me to be depressed in the first place was not being recognized. It wasn't given time. It hadn't been seen. So just as long as if the root was still there, I was never going to get rid of the issue. So potentially I'm just really actually just covering up the issue with another issue, which is now actually technically chemically changing my body so it can cope with the situation of stress. Because that's all depression and anxiety, just a type of stress on our bodies. And we've just put a word to it because we can label it as something, because we know we have a familiar feeling to the way it feels. So that's why we have language, so we can communicate, right? So I was like, crap. And I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to stop taking my medication. She was like, what? I was like, no, I need to do the work. So I wrote to my doctor. I was like, hey, by the way, I'm going to stop taking it. How can I stop taking it safely? That's one thing you should do. If you're taking pharmaceuticals and you wish to stop taking them, never cold turkey. One, it sucks. I've done it a few times with anti-anxiety meds, and I was crawling and writhing around on the floor in absolute agony, emotional agony of just discomfort in the body, of feeling so unwell from cold turkey, when I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah, it wasn't good. So don't cold turkey anything. If you're ever going to stop taking medication, do it very slowly, do it very safely. There is no time limit to any of this stuff when it comes to overcoming anything that you're going through. Everything is emotion. The way I see emotion, it's energy in motion, or emotion in motion, right? So if you can find someone that you can feel safe with, a human being that's really going to let you be vulnerable, that's going to share, that you can share everything, all of the secrets, all of the stresses, all of the problems, all of the fears, all of the angers, the rages, the upsets, all of the pleasures, the desires, whatever it might be that's causing you to not have equanimity in your body, safety, softness, love, patience. If you don't have someone that's around you, well, call up someone like this dude, because I'd love to hear this stuff and support and say, okay, let's do this, let's do that. But if not, find someone. There's so many people, I think, in the world that just hiding in the background, that I wanted to support and share the things that worked for them, to bring you slowly back up, bring your energy up. It's not even about going to the light. It's just like just raising that vibration, raising the vibration till the body feels good. Keep doing it, no matter what the physical ailment is. Do what you need to do in your journey. Go and see the doctor, the specialist, the epigenetic specialist, gene therapy, yoga therapy, massage therapy, music therapy, anger therapy, whatever it is. Find your safe way that you can sit and go, 1, I'm honoring myself right now for showing up. I need support. 2, I know all the things that I'm feeling aren't really me, the essence of me. My soul is me. Right? The body is not me as such. It's like I was saying the other day in a yoga class, when I was talking about just awareness and a form of consciousness and this energy that is me and it's not, and so forth. It's like if I take this body, but there's something in this body that's allowing me to experience this body, right? That's the thing that's allowing me to talk right now, make this video, this thing that's aware. So if I could extract that thing that's aware out of my body and put it in a tree, can I put it in a tree? Okay, could I put it in a dog? Could I put it in any other living organism? Put it in an ant, that'd be kind of an interesting one. And then if I took that thing out that's aware of me, then what am I left with? I'm just left with a body that's alive, right? So we've got to treat this body with a lot of reverence, because it has so much intelligence. It knows what it needs. We just have to fine-tune ourselves to listen to that. People say it's intuition, but I think it's just this, that the body knows, right? And we've just put, again, a name to that sense that we feel around this knowing. Your body knows. The mind doesn't know. The mind knows how to work. It does its job. Everything's just working without you even having to do anything. But we get in the way with our emotions, with our programs that we've been taught how to be, how to do, and how to act, because that's how it's always been done. But if something's not feeling right to you, question it. We have to question everything. If we don't question, then eventually we're not going to be able to step into the society that we actually crave, need, and want. For a planet to live in harmony, the harmony is in the planet. The planet is harmony in itself. It's been doing it for billions and billions and billions of years. Can I bring all of my depressions, all of my angst, all of my feeling up to the surface in a safe way, one by one? Don't bring it all up at the same time. Depression is like where everything's out. All of your vrittis, all of your chakras, all of your emotional propensities are vibrating and they're moving. Everything's like pumping out through your body all the time. And the mind is saturated and it doesn't know what to do. And slowly but surely, the digestive system stops working because it's in fight or flight all the time. And then as a byproduct, it starts to stop the thyroid from working. And then as a byproduct, it starts to stop the adrenals from working properly. Because we've got adrenaline pumping through, cortisol in my body all the time. And all of a sudden now I'm chronically inflamed. Everything I eat causes me distension. Overgrowth of bacteria in my gut. Not good bacteria. We have more bacteria in our bodies than we do cells. We have like 5 trillion cells that make up the human body. Thereabouts, apparently, right? I don't know this for sure. But I like to imagine myself as one big cell, because each one is communicating as a whole, as a unit, as a yoga, as a one, a union. I don't even know the number off the top of my head right now. I'm going to check it in a bit. But we have more bacteria than those cells in the body. Imagine that. So in that case, my body, my hormone production, my everything comes from those bacteria that sit in my digestive system, that digest my oxygen, that digest my carbon, that give me hormone production, that digest my food, my sugars, my fats. Everything that goes into my mouth, everything that I'm breathing through my nose, everything that I hear, everything that I see, everything that I think, at some level interacts with that bacteria, or that bacteria interacts with it. Absolutely fascinating that we have living organisms inside my living organism that direct how my body will work. I found out today that I have an overgrowth of bacteria. That's why I've been actually unwell in my body, despite all the good things that I do to it. I keep it at bay, I keep it calm, but I still have this sense of something in my body. So when I intuitively know that it's my digestive system, but today I got it confirmed that I have an excess of bacteria, ongo bacteria, fungus bacteria, and parasite, in whichever way that is, I don't know, and virus, which is causing my immune system to attack constantly everything that goes into my body, because it sees everything as a threat, because there's so much bacteria. Awesome. So now I have a very special protocol to fix my gut. Now that means me letting go of all of this stuff, bringing more love into my body. It's all part of the process, but it's an insane process. Once you start doing it and you start witnessing, you realize that everything that's coming to you is the exact thing you need. That's it. For our own personal spiritual growth. It is uncomfortable sometimes, but if we can hold on for dear life, and we can let go of the past so we can move into our future, then everything becomes easeful, it becomes beautiful, and we realize how beautiful life is. Because it is insanely beautiful. Who doesn't want to be here? It's insanely cool, but when we feel unwell all the time, what do we want to do? And we'll check out. Which brings me to my next video. I will talk about suicide and thoughts and my feelings that I've had around that over the years, and raise a bit more awareness around that, and also talk about the light within, a retreat, the only retreat in the whole world that does interpersonal loving, where we bring people to us and we support them and we show them back, we show them the way. And which way that is very personal, it's very individual. And we'll talk about that in the next video too, to raise more awareness, to help people, to support people, to give people this full understanding that they're not alone, we're not alone, that there's people here that love you, and they want you here, they need you here, and that's not the only way. Just because we're in discomfort, we can make one step at a time be the way. Taking one step at a time. I'm going to check out that step each time, and eventually I'll be halfway up, or I'll be at the top of the mountain. Rather than just looking up the mountain and being like, okay, that's where I'm going. That seems impossible. I'm just going to stay down here. No, it doesn't have to be like that. So, that's enough for today. Much love. Till next time. Take care.